Hello students, good afternoon and welcome to our math class today. Our lesson is on how we can do measuring and that of drawing of lines. There is one investigation that we also need to do from page 80 of unit 15 that we are also looking at, okay? The first thing that you need when you want to measure a line or to draw a line is you need a ruler. This ruler starts from 0. It ends at 100 centimeters, so it's measured in centimeters. In between the centimeters you have millimeters. So what you need to understand is the smaller unit is millimeters, and then the next unit will be centimeters, and then it goes to meters. In our investigation, we need to investigate what Angela did. Angela needed a piece of string at least 5 meters long. She had lots of pieces of this string, and each piece is 50 centimeters. Each time she tied two together, she uses 50 millimeters for the knot, and then she was able to get 5 meters, okay? So now we have to find out how many pieces of the 50 centimeters that she needs to use to make the 5 meter long string. So first of all, you need to know how you can convert or change your centimeters to meters or meters to centimeters into millimeters, okay? So that will be, we'd say that for every 1 meter that you have is equal to 100 centimeters, okay? And this is also equal to 1000 millimeters. Okay, now we know that 50 to get 5 meters, that will be 500 centimeters. So we can multiply 10. So we can multiply 10 by the 50 centimeters, and that will give us 500. So that will give us 500 centimeters, and that will be equal to 5 meters. Now she's using 50 millimeters for the knot, okay? So that means when we subtract that length of 50 millimeters in every knot of any two joints that she's making, we're going to have less than 5 meters, but she needs at least 5 meters long. So if you are joining 10 ropes, okay? If you are joining 10 ropes, you're going to have 9 knots, like 9 tight points before you can have the 10 joints together. So what we need to do is that we need to multiply 9. So this will be 9 knot length, okay, by the 50 that she is been using, and that will be equal to 450 millimeters. Okay, so actually she needs to add this 400 millimeters to that of the 500 centimeters, and that will give her the 5 meters that she is looking for. So we know that 450 meters will be kind of equal to 1 piece of the rope or the string that she is been using, okay? So that means she needs 10 of the first one and then need 1 of this. So how many pieces does she need? So answer is she needs 11 pieces, okay? She needs 11 pieces to make that of the 5 meter long string that she wants. Now on drawing and measuring of lines, We have 3 examples here. This line, the length of this line is 50 centimeters. And then the length of this line is 20 centimeters. This short one here, the small one here, is 3 centimeters, okay? So whenever you take your ruler, you put the 0 at the beginning of your line, and then you put it on the line straight, and then you take the last measurement, okay? So from the 0 here to that of the end point of your line, it measures 50 centimeters. So when you want to draw a 50 centimeter line, you need to check on your ruler. The same way, your 20 centimeter is also here, okay, and this way. So if you are to ask to draw a line that is in meters and your ruler is in centimeters, you need to change the number of meters that you need to draw into centimeters before you can use your ruler to add it up and have the correct measurement, okay? The same way from millimeters to centimeters, you always try to do your conversion, then it becomes very easy for you to do that. On your first activity, we're going to have it from the learner's book, pages 80 and that of 81. You have to answer questions 1 to that of 5. Afterwards, we meet in our second video. Students, welcome back to our second video. So I believe that now you know how you can measure your lines and how you can also draw accurate lines. Okay, so because now you know how to draw those things, when you are asked to also make an estimate, because you know the exact ones, you can also look at some drawings and then you can make a very good estimate of them before even you take a ruler or a measuring tape to get the actual measurement of the line that you have. On this section, we'll be looking at how we can use scales, okay? How we can use scales to identify length of lines, okay? Or when you are doing measurements and you are using scale, how can you find the intermediate point? So first of all, you need to understand what an intermediate point is. Okay, so if you look at this measuring cup that we have here, you can see some numbers that are boldly written, that if you have, let's say, water, or if you have anything in this cup up to this level, it will give you, let's say, it will give you 100 ml, okay? So if you have it up to this point, you can say it will give you 500 ml, and then this will give you 200 ml, and then this will give you 300 ml, and then this will give you 400, just like that. Then you go to 600 ml. Okay, now once we know this unit, what we need to know is that whenever you were measuring length, we measure them in either meters, centimeters, or millimeters, okay? So meters is the longest, this is the longer, and then this is the long one. If you are measuring mass, okay? If you are measuring mass, that means how heavy or light an object is. You use either gram or you use a kilogram, okay? And we've already done the conversion of meter to centimeter to millimeters, okay? So every 1 meter will give you 100 centimeters, and then every 100 centimeters will give you 1,000 millimeters. Now, if you are doing unit of mass and you are using gram, every 1,000 gram will give you 1 kg. That is 1 kilogram, okay? So every 1,000 grams will give you 1 kg. And then when you are doing unit of capacity, capacity means the space within an object, like the total space within an object to hold something. That is the capacity. So that is measured in liters or it's measured in milliliters. So every 1,000 milliliters is equal to 1 liter. You've been drinking a lot of water, so I know that you are much familiar that if you buy the small bottle, it's 500 ml, and then 2 of it will give you 1,000, and that is 1 liter. Okay. Now on our main point, we are to find the intermediate point. Okay, so this is the word intermediate. So intermediate actually means it is between 2 levels, 2 stages, or 2 points. That means it is in the middle. Okay, it's in the middle of 2 major things. So if we check our cup here, we could see 100, 200, 300, 400, up to 600. And in between them, there are smaller units or smaller numbers that are not showing up. And these numbers are what we call the intermediate. So assuming we are looking for the numbers that will fall between the spaces of 100 and that of 200, how do we find this intermediate point? The instruction that you need to follow to find your intermediate point is that first you need to find the difference. Okay, so when we say find the difference, it means we are saying do a subtraction. So you need to find the difference between 2 marked points. Okay, so 2 marked points will be 100 and that of 200. So these are the 2 marked points. So now to find the difference, okay, so find difference between the 2 marked points. So it's going to be, you always write the big number first. Okay, so it's going to be 200 minus 100, and that will be equal to 100 as well. The next thing that you need to do is to divide the difference. Okay, so the difference is the 100 here by the number of spaces. Okay, by the number of space. So if you check our measuring cup, it's having the space. Okay, it's not the number of marks that you see there, the space. So in between 100 and 200, we could see 1, 2, 3, 4. So we could see 4 spaces. Okay. So we divide by number of spaces. Okay. Okay. So we have our difference, and then we divide this by 4, and that will be equal to 25. So when you divide your difference by 4, you're going to have 25. That means from 100 to the next point, you need to add 25 to that of your 100. So the next point will be 125, the next point will be 150, the next point will be 175, and then we'll go to 200. So this 25 becomes the space value of our intermediate points, which we need to add to the previous points and add it up till we get to the other one. On this section, we'll have our second activity that will be task 2, and it's from the skills builder section, pages 50 and that of 51. Your questions are question 1 to that of 4. Until then, we meet on our last video. Okay, students, this is our last video, and our lesson has been on measuring and drawing of lines. We have gone through how we can do an investigation if someone actually made a length of a rope or a string, that we need to calculate how many pieces of shorts or pieces of string that was used to make the long one. We did those investigations. We looked at how we can measure our line and how we can also give an estimate looking at what our previous knowledge about actual lines that we have. On our second video, we looked at how we can use scales. Okay, so scales basically means taking a measurement, and it could be that you are taking a measurement of a length, and these are the units that unit of measure that you need to use. In case of length, you need to use either meters, centimeters, or millimeters. If you are also measuring the capacity, if you are measuring a mass, you need to know the unit used to calculate mass, and that will be gram and that of kilogram. If you are also taking a measurement on capacity, you also need to know the unit of measurements that you need to use, and that will be liter or that of milliliters. Okay, so these are units of measurements when it comes to measuring length, mass, and that of capacity. Again, we concluded our lesson on how we can find intermediate points. So intermediate points are the smaller points within the major marked ones that you can like easily see. So those ones are like kind of not shown. You need to reason up and get it by yourself. Okay, so we went through the steps that we need to follow to find your intermediate point, and that brought us to the end of our lesson. And I believe that you have enjoyed every bit of this lesson. We will have our homework as usual, and that will be from the challenge book. We're going to do pages 40 and that of 43. We are answering all questions at those pages. Until then, we'll meet next week. Goodbye.